Savior. Come to Jesus. He is the only Savior. Yes, come to Jesus. He's the only Savior. I don't know why the video has been cutting and restarting. I don't know what is happening, but we are just going to continue. I welcome everyone who is there. That song is one of my songs, and the title is Come to Jesus. He is the only Savior. And today I want us to discuss quickly on what I just wrote there as a topic. Are you people living in abusive relationships? If yes, why do they continue to live in abusive relationships? What are the causes? What makes them to continue to stay there? And how can we advise them to walk away from those kind of relationships, or to be able to help the relationship to become better? That is our topic today. Living in an abusive relationship. Do we know anybody living in an abusive relationship? Have we heard about it? Do we think that it is necessary for these people to continue to live in abusive relationships? Those are the key questions today. Recently, I think a few months ago in Limbe in Cameroon, a woman was killed because she had been living with a husband who was very abusive of her, and she was struggling to live. She had 5 children. She was struggling to live, struggling to make things work, and finally she was beaten mercilessly, taken to the hospital. She stayed in the hospital for some time, and finally she died. In Yaoundé, I cannot tell you how many instances of violence against women or abusive relationships that has ended in taking lives of people. In Africa as in Europe, and in America, we have heard of many women who have been shot, or even husbands. When I say living in an abusive relationship, I don't mean only women. The only thing is that more are women who suffer from these relationships. The number of men who suffer from this kind of abusive relationships is smaller. So you will constantly hear me talk more of women, but it doesn't cancel the fact that there are men who also live in abusive relationships. Welcome to everyone. So today I want us to discuss quickly, why is it that people meet in love, they love each other so well, they meet, they happily decide to get married, or they are friends, they are lovers, but yet there comes a time in their relationship that they start having difficulties, and then they go into an abusive relationship. What is the reason behind this? What happens? Why is it like this? Are you abused? Do you know someone who is abused? Do you know a relative, a family member who is abused? Many people, many people keep saying, he loves me or she loves me. Many women, I've heard women who come to me and earnestly tell me terrible experiences that they are having. And then when you ask them, so you are having all this experience, why are you still in that home? The lady will tell you, he loves me, When we have problems like that, after some time, he will come and apologize. He will tell me that he's sorry, and then he will show me love. Yes. And then after showing you that love, after saying he's sorry, what happens next? The cycle comes back. So when you see that you are in an abusive relationship, what do? Do you just sit there and be waiting for your partner to abuse you, and then after they come and show you love? Or you struggle to see how you can contribute to helping this relationship to move? One way to contribute is to earnestly look at yourself to be sure that you are not contributing to this situation you find yourself. That you are not having any ingredients that you advance that attracts this violence on you, this abuse on you. If you earnestly look at this and you find out that you are doing something that is attracting this, I think it is normal and advisable for you to struggle to work and change that. It is very, very important. So when you find yourself in an abusive relationship, whether it's a marriage or it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or it is whatever kind of relationship, even between siblings, between parents and children, once you find yourself in an abusive relationship, the first step that you do is that you look at yourself and ask, what am I doing that is attracting this vengeance on me? Am I doing anything that gives rise to this? If you ask yourself earnestly and you discover that there is something that you are doing that makes this to be a matter of fact in your life, you try to change it. Then when you change it, when you struggle to work on that and you are better, you will no longer be the source of that problem. And if the problem continues, then you have to seek for redress. If you seek for redress and it cannot change, then you have to move away. Many people have died. I was watching a film last night, and the woman was being abused. You know, some of the abuses, I want us to now, let us start by, why are people abused? People are abused in relationships, sometimes caused by them and sometimes caused by the very way the relationship was constructed. How did the relationship start? Now let's start from by them. Sometimes we find ourselves doing things in our relationships that are unacceptable. That is, you are married to somebody. Let me talk about the men. Sometimes you, the men, you just look at us, the women, as an object of your satisfaction. After all, you paid a dowry. You know, I did a small research about dowry, and I found out that it was in those days, do they call it bride price? In those days, there were no contracts. So parents devised this means of bride price and dowry. Like in my culture, the man brings the bride price and the woman brings the dowry. So it's an exchange. But in some cultures, whether it is the one where there is an exchange of dowry and bride price, nobody ever talks about dowry when there is a problem. You only hear people talk only about bride price. And nobody ever even mentions the fact that women are suffering from, women are also, when in an event of a bad marriage, what the women brought should also be given back. You always hear in traditions, people are only asking for what the man brought. So I am here today to say that sometimes we do things, we women, you men, you do things that provoke violence on women, and then you are abusing the woman because of the culture, because you think that paying bride price on a woman means that you bought the woman. That is wrong, and it is wrong every day and any time and all the time. It is a wrong notion to think that you can buy somebody. How much can you buy somebody? To those men who think that because I paid bride price, as I just said, I made a research, and the most of the very elderly people told me that bride price was just like a contract that you are giving your daughter to somebody, and this person is going to be with your daughter. So there should be something that, in my dialect, they call bride price ibi boy, which means collar. Excuse me, which means collar knot. So what has happened to this word collar knot? That today you see women going under, experiencing terrible abuse in their marriages because of bride price. That is one of the cause of abuse in marriages, bride price. Somebody will say, I spent so much money to buy you, I bought you. Can you really buy somebody, sisters and brothers? Can you buy somebody? Because you hear a man who say that, I bought this woman. You hear another woman will stand somewhere and say that, my brother paid money for this woman. My brother paid money for this woman. How on earth can you say that your brother bought somebody? If somebody says that they bought your daughter, will you be happy? That is what we say. Those are some of the words that we say that promote abuse in relationships. Dowry, bride price, especially bride price. You know, bride price is what the man brings, and then dowry is whatever thing that the woman brings in that event of a marriage. Yes, my dear Mercy, ignorance. Bride price is a form of contract. And I don't know how people have done what they call women now. I always like to call in French, chosify. That is, made women to look like a thing. A woman, oh, thank you, my beautiful girl. Thank you, my daughter. It's your sister who has made my hair like this. You see, we have made women to look like an object of ridicule. To the extent that somebody will, because of love, want to marry a woman, and then as a condition of that tradition, they say, okay, bring bride price. You bring the bride price, and then you come and use the woman as a slave. And for that reason, you keep the woman to constantly be in an abuse. Shame on you. Now, I cannot blame the men without blaming the parents of the girls, because that's another contributing factor of abuse, living in an abusive relationship. Some of the reasons why some women are living in abusive relationships is because their parents priced them as if they were pricing a goat, as if they were selling a cow. You will see somebody who price, and do you have to price a girl? Or you are going to ask your daughter's suitor to come with that collar knot for you to share and discuss and exchange. Some parents price, they say this girl is fair in complexion, the price is different. And they have pushed young women to want to bleach because they want to feel that they are more expensive when they are bought. Some parents say, I educated my child from primary to university level, so you have to pay back the fee. Really? Were you educating your child to get married? Were you? No. You were not educating your child to get married. You were educating your child because it is your responsibility to educate that child. It is your obligation, and it is that child's right to be educated. So I don't see how in one of the stages of this child's life, getting married, you will come up with the idea that this child, anybody who is getting married to this child, you educated the child, therefore they have to pay for that education before somebody takes that child as a wife. That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and it is terrible. And we may not know, as Mercy says, that it is ignorant. Ignorantly, people have sold their children into slavery under the pretext of marriage. Ignorantly, some parents have given their children to husbands as an exchange for abuse, because they just think that, no, I want to be bragging with my daughter. I want to show off that my daughter is well placed, my daughter is beautiful, my daughter is well educated. And then you go and ask a price for your daughter that puts your daughter in a permanent prison from the day she leaves your home in the name of marriage. May God help us. May God help us. Those are some of the things. So if you are a parent and you see that your daughter is constantly living in an abusive relationship, you have to start off by first of all checking, how did I give this child out for marriage? Rachel, welcome. Did I sell this child, or I gave her out for marriage? You as a parent, you have to check. Because some of us, we just cry foul. We just start crying, shouting that, look, my daughter is not a slave. How is this man using my daughter like a slave? Without thinking back what we did to give that man the audacity to treat your daughters as slaves. So any parent whose daughter is living in an abusive relationship, you have to start. The first thing first, the first thing you have to do is to think back, reflect. If you properly handed your child in marriage, if you handed your child in marriage in the way God wanted it to be, or you sold her, when God created Eve and handed to Adam, God did not ask Adam to pay anything for Eve. God just presented Eve to Adam, and then asked Adam, How can we call this person? Welcome, I'm seeing all of you, Rachel, Karen. God presented Eve to Adam. When God created woman, he just created and presented to the man. He did not tell the man that you have to pay this before you get her. He presented Eve to Adam and then asked Adam, how do we call this? And Adam said, she is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I will call her woman. Woo, and then man. Because Adam knew that he was a man. Meaning that it's part of me. Woman in itself means part of a man. So how on earth do we, through our own marriages, deliver children and then we auction them, we sell them? Are we truly representing God when we are giving out our children for marriage? Question. We can cook food and celebrate. Let us celebrate marriage. Let us not make marriage a prison for our children. So any parent who is listening to me, and I'm sure all of us are, even if you are a parent to be, hey, my manager in the house, Chris, welcome. I was waiting I tried to contact you, I didn't get you. Any man, whether you are a young man, a young woman, you have had children or not yet, know that you will be a parent in one way or the other. If you want to give out your child for marriage, don't sell your child, because those children that have been sold are working slavery in the marriage. Many of them are living in an abusive relationship because each time the man thinks of how much they spent to get this woman that they loved, they will say in their mind, if I really love this woman, should I have spent this much money? Then they will abuse your daughter. So each time you see your friend, your sister, your daughter, or your whoever living in an abusive relationship, even if you see your brother living in an abusive relationship, you have to first of all think back on yourself to see, how was the marriage? How did I contribute to getting these two people together? Did I, through my contribution, cause any did I give any reason for this abuse that this my relative or my daughter or my son or my sister is experiencing today? We need to start asking ourselves these questions, because I have seen some traditions where when they want to get married to a woman, they will frustrate the young man. They will ask the young man to go and visit everybody in the family. When you go to the family member will say, this is my daughter, my own na 40,000, my own na 100,000, my own na this, you bring this. Really? Are we selling a goat, or we are selling a human being, or we are giving out a child for marriage? Those are questions we have to start asking ourselves. There are cultures that we need to rethink, because I am sure that the origin of this culture of a man going and meeting everybody in the family was not for the people to start prizing the girl as if she is an article. It was for the man to know the people, and also for the people to know the man who is going to get married to their child. It was not for them to start prizing the child. So we have been prizing over the years. What is the result? The result is that many people, yes, thank you, Chris. I'm happy you're here already. The result is that many people are living in an abusive relationship today. And even the people who are abusing them do not even understand again why they are abusing them. They just have this, our subconscious mind snaps our hurts and keeps, and then starts to exert the hurt. And the hurting feelings that we have had over time may be coming out through some kind of, how do I say it? May be coming out through some kind of reactions that we are exhibiting without really knowing. Please, Chris, share the video, invite as many people. And so living in an abusive relationship is a ring, is a net, is a web that is created by so many reasons. And we have started with the first reason, which has to do with the contraction of the marriage. What was your motive of getting married? How was the getting married? How was the marriage contracted? How was it handled traditionally? Were you people, how do they call it? Were you counseled by men of God? Were you advised by men of God from the start? Did you marry actually knowing the person you were getting married to? Because sometimes when we are in courtship, we hide our true selves. And then we only bring them out when we are married. We have to check out those things from the conception of the marriage, from the initial stage. How did you meet? Did you seek to know each other, or you just hurriedly got married? Now you knew each other. How did your families behave towards each other? Was it a marriage contracted, or it was a business contraction? Because sometimes a business is contracted rather than a marriage, where people just request for so much. They say, my pikin yellow, so the price be different. My pikin go school, the price be different. I have fed my daughter all through the years. Come on. So how much will God ask us for bringing us up to now? If God were to price us, will we be able to pay? We need to ask ourselves these questions. We need to start asking ourselves. When we start asking exorbitant, requesting this kind of money, if God created Eve and asked for money, will Adam have been able to pay? Well, God might have given Adam money to pay, but God did not ask for any pay. That is why we should not ask for pay when we ask for bride price. When we are contracting a marriage. That is why asking for a pay during the contraction of a marriage is wrong, and we must take it as wrong. Now, I have talked about the person who is married, and I've talked about parents, and it also goes with friends. Now, you, the abuser, you who accepted to give so much money to buy a woman, if that was buying, as you put it in your mind, why did you accept to buy? Then you come and punish. Some men will go and pay. Some men will even decide to spend more when they have not asked. They will want to spend more on their wives to show off. Then when the woman comes home, they will start treating the woman like an animal in the name of, I spent so much to get this woman. They will not want the woman to go out. They will not want her to talk with anybody. They will not want her to work. They will want her to be in a small prison in their home, in the name of a marriage. Come on. That is abusive, brothers and sisters, and should be condemned. That is an abuse and should be condemned. Let us learn to condemn poor attitudes. They are not accepted, especially in a relationship where somebody is abused unnecessarily. Are you in that relationship? Are you abused? If you are abused, you have to, if you are in that kind of relationship, you have to come out of it. And you can easily come out of it. Let me say how you can come out of it. You can walk away if it is so abusive, or you can identify what is causing the abuse and see how you can move forward. In fact, many people are suffering in this kind of relationships today. And today, I am here to tell us that it is about time we start identifying, naming, and shaming this kind of attitudes. If you are a parent who has sold your daughter for marriage, in the name of marriage, it is about time you go back to the drawing board and try to solve that problem. Most parents they go into business contracts rather than into contracting a marriage. When a man comes to, your daughter tells you that I have a husband, the first question we ask is, what is he working? Because we want to know how much is going to get into our pockets. That is wrong. That kind of business contractions, contracts that we have contracted in the name of marriage is putting our daughters at the helm of abuse. And many of our daughters are suffering today. So if you are a parent, or you are a sibling, or you find yourself in a family where they ask for so much, just because they want to get married, they want the child to get married in that family. You have to start sensitizing your family to stop that, because Jesus did not ask us. The Bible, the word of God, does not ask us anywhere to pay for a dowry or to pay for a bride price over a woman. There was a wedding, to the best of my knowledge, there was a wedding in Canaan where they were celebrating. So we should rather celebrate the marriages rather than selling children. Some parents have actually sold their daughters. They say the daughter is fair in complexion. The daughter has gone to school up to university. The daughter has done this. If you have sold your daughter and your daughter is living in an abusive relationship, know that you are the cause of that abuse on your daughter. Know that you are the cause of that abuse on your daughter. That is what we are talking about. If you have sold your daughter like a piece of article, if you have sold your daughter rather than contracting a marriage, when God created Eve, what God did was he presented Eve to Adam. He did not ask Adam to pay something before he presents Eve. He presented Eve to Adam, and then Adam said, oh, she's beautiful. I will name her woman, because she's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. That is what we should be doing. I'm not saying that bride price or dowry is wrong. The notion of it that we take it to contract marriages as if we are contracting businesses is putting our daughters in trouble. And our daughters are working slavery in some marriages. There are some men who say that I spent so much for you, so you don't have to visit anybody, you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything, you have to stay here and serve me. There are some homes like that. Women have come to me and said that. You will sell your daughter because your daughter went to the university. But when your daughter gets into that home, that daughter will not even exhibit the university degree, because she will be forced to stay at home and serve the master who bought her. So if you hear that your daughter is living in an abusive relationship, or even your son, you have to first of all check yourself. Ask yourself, what have I done? How did I contribute to this? Thank you, my dear sister-in-law, husband and mother, Helen. Ask yourself, what did I do? What have I contributed? How did I contribute to lead this child to this situation, or to lead my friend to this situation? Or let us stop asking our children's suitors, what do they work? Because when we ask like that, we are telling our children that you must look for somebody who has something. It must not necessarily be somebody you love. When you start asking your daughters, when they bring the idea of a man, that I want to get married to this man, when you start asking them, what does he work? From which family? You are suggesting that you want somebody who has money. And for that reason, you have put her love for the man she's presenting you have put the love in jeopardy. It means that you don't care about your daughter's feeling. You care rather about the feelings of what you feel and what you need. My dear brothers and sisters, yes, Vitalis, that what I'm saying is true, my brother. Look, we have to start shaming and blaming and reducing, stopping these attitudes. Because many young women, beautiful young women, are suffering out there. Their lives have been stopped out there because of this attitude. Yes, Bobe Sylvester, good evening. Hey, beautiful Newu, welcome, Mama Taraku. We are talking about living in an abusive relationship. And I started off by saying that many women are living in an abusive relationship. And I said the women or men, whoever is living in an abusive relationship, check yourself first. Try to look into yourself. What do I do? What are them? Am I having any ingredients that I'm throwing out to attract this abuse on me? If you are experiencing an abusive relationship, check yourself first. When you check yourself, if you see that there are things that you are doing that are promoting that or are attracting abuse on you, you try to work to stop them. If you see that you are not doing anything, you try to seek for redress. Or when it gets to the worst, you walk away from that relationship. Because many women have lost their lives. Many women are useless today. I even said earlier that I am talking more about women because more women suffer abuse in marriages than men. But there are men who also suffer abuse in marriages and in relationships. But more women, maybe it's because more women report. I'm also calling on men, if you are in an abusive relationship, talk about it. Stop dying in silence. Now, then I went on to say that many of us experience abuse because of the way a marriage or a relationship was constructed. Then I started off by saying there are some traditions where when a man has to get married in that family, they will tell you, they will give you a list of people and tell the man to visit all those people. And then when you visit any of them, they tell you, now my own amount is, my own amount 100,000. You will give me amount 100,000, give me blanket, you will give me this, or you will build me house, you will do this. People who did not even contribute to the raising of that girl, they will be giving some kind of prizes to the husband to be. And then when the husband to be is frustrated, he pays those things. And then when he gets home, each time he thinks of it, he gets angry. And when he gets angry, he vents on the girl. And you have eaten your money and you are comfortable wherever you are. You, the family members, you, the father, you hear a father says, my daughter is fair in complexion. My daughter went right to university, so I have to price her like this. You will bring 1 million. Really? How can you sell your child as you are selling a goat or a cow or a vehicle or a house? Those are some of the reasons why today some women are living in an abusive relationship. And some of the men, I also said, you men, why do you pay? If they ask you to pay for a woman you love, you better refuse to pay. Why do you accept to pay and then the woman is the one who is suffering the effect? You don't have, that is not a justification for you to punish a woman because you paid so much on her. Rather than you pay, why don't you argue and tell them no? You know, we are making this issue of marriage to look like is an illusion. Marriage is an idea that people actually have to accept they want to contract a marriage, and then they consciously go into it happily. You should not be going into a marriage angry, frowning because you have been asked to spend much. And those family members, you who have never even known how that girl is growing, you just know that your brother or your sister has a daughter somewhere. Your brother has a daughter who is now living in America or in Europe. When they come to marry, they come to you. Maybe the challenge was that the husband-to-be will come and visit the whole family members for you to know each other, and why not? You can exchange some gifts, but don't demand something that is so terrible. Yes, Christy, some women argue. Some women say that they must pay for my head. They must pay. Have you ever checked to know why they are paying for your dowry? You, the women who argue. Have you ever checked? Have you ever, thank you very much, Favor. Have you ever asked yourself, why do they pay for me? In fact, I will tell you today, I did a small research about bride price and dowry. And I was told, I did the research because in my tradition, it is a two-way thing. The man brings the things that they request, and then the woman also has some things that they bring. The family of the woman, they put corn in a basket, they bring a goosey, they bring things. Yes. And so when I went asking, the older generation told me that this was, in those days, there were no contract, there were no marriage certificates, there was nothing to show that I've given my daughter to this person. So the people of the old came up with this thing, and in my tradition they call it Ibibowai, which means kola nut for the father. So when you are asking 1 million, is that still kola nut? That's not kola nut. You go and ask so much money, and then you sell your child as if your child is a goat or a cow or a house, an article. Then when the man starts treating that child as an article, you are the one first to complain that this man should not treat my child like this, not knowing that you contributed to that. Yes, Bobe Sylvester has said, parents who have never worked in life and they want to know what the suitor of a daughter is doing for a living. My dear, they don't even know how work looks like. They will say, what is he working? You are doing that, you are imprisoning your daughter. Yes, you are imprisoning your daughter. And then when your daughter starts suffering, The man will put all the blame on your daughter. When your daughter is suffering, she cannot even come back. I saw a film last night where the girl is suffering, but when the girl tells the mother says, no, if you come back, this man has been giving us money. We will not have this money again. Even when she complains to her brother, the brother says, no, your husband is helping us. He's paying my fee. If you leave the man, really? A girl will suffer and die because the man is a source of finance for you people? Did God ask money from Adam when he created Eve? No. So why are we asking money? When you are contracting a marriage for your daughter, are you contracting a marriage or you are contracting a business? Are you contracting a business or a marriage? We need to start asking ourselves these questions. Rachel says, it is not good to ask what somebody is working because the parents are just disturbing the child and she ends up making a wrong choice or getting married to somebody she does not like. Yes, there are so many people who are in marriage today, my dear brothers and sisters, who are to the wrong people because the true persons that they loved in their heart maybe had not started working. Let's reflect back in the Bible again. The Bible says that God created a woman as a helpmate to the man, meaning that together with the man, the woman will help the man and they will grow. So how do you expect to get a ready-made husband for your daughter? It means that you want your daughter to enter a house that is already made, therefore she is no longer a helpmate. Yes. So those people in families who start asking not only what they work, but then they will ask. Recently, one of my friends got married. He told me that he went to the village of the girl. He had to visit everybody in the family that was giving. He had a list. You go and visit this person. The person will say, my own money na 20,000. The other one will say, my own na this. The other one will say, my own na this. Really? Is it an article you people are selling? We need to start conscientizing our families. Mercy said earlier on that is ignorance, and I think I buy that idea. There is ignorance. We have to conscientize and sensitize our families to stop this business in the name of marriages, beginning from the families. Now let me come to the guys who pay. You pay, you accept to pay. Then when you come, why are you punishing the woman? Like in my tradition, those people who know I'm from Com, there is dowry because the day that when they are doing a marriage, all the women of the mothers of the woman, they bring in corn. They bring corn, they bring a goosey, they prepare things to welcome some of them bring what we call kaise, the locally made dishes. They bring things. The family of the husband goes back with those things. But in the event of the marriage, the event divorce, when this marriage has a problem, you will hardly hear anybody say that they should also pay back what the family of the woman gave. You will hear everybody say, we are going to count our money. And you hear even women saying it. They are going to count their money. They don't even think of what the family of that woman brought. Look, I am bringing out these things for us to look at them. Should we continue like this and bring trouble to our children and our sisters and our friends? You are a friend to a girl. A man wants to get married to the girl. The man knows that you are the friend. They go into a shop. The man may say, you pick one thing from there. Then you will see a girl who go and pick something so expensive. You are just a friend. You are not the girl who is marrying. Why are you picking an expensive thing for the husband to pay? That is greed. Those are things that we do every day, and then we do all these things. And when the man who has stupidly borne all the costs, when they get home, they want to punish the girl. And then you will see the girl physically abused, beaten every day. Like Harriet, who died in Boya because of beating. Whether in Limbe, sorry. Harriet died 2 months or 3 months ago because of beating. Beating a woman as if you are punching back. Beat, and kill. I want to tell men who have power, if you have power, you want to fight, go and face your friends, men. Stop fighting women. If you got married to a woman because you loved her, why do you beat her? If she does something that is wrong, correct her with the love. Correct her in love. The Bible says, rebuke in love. Correct her with love. Don't beat. She is not your punching back. Neither is she something for you to keep and be beating. You can Treat your woman with love and help her to change without beating. Welcome, Alex. You can correct this woman without beating. Why do we beat? You, the man, if you have too much power, you want to become Mike Tyson, you go to the ring and fight there and stop fighting in your home, because that woman got married to you for love. If the parents took so much money from you in the name of bride price, if somebody to slap, go to the parents and allow the woman to be peaceful, because she got married to her lover. She did not get married to a fighter. So many women have had tooths removed because of beating. They have broken faces. They have jaws that are. I know women who have had men who have had wounded hands. Yes, Christy, they should go to a war front and fight. They should stop fighting women. Marcel says, "Na money where is spent, the penam." I tell you, my brother, the money is spent, and why you be spend am? If you not be one for spend, you stop. You tell you can you as a man, you can sensitize that family. Tell those parents that it is wrong to auction your child. Or tell them that, okay, if I'm buying your child, I will use the child as an article because you are selling her to me. Maybe that will give some sense to them. We have to stand out and say no to this kind of things. Our traditional things are putting some people in a lot of trouble. Now, there's another thing that we also do. When the girl has gotten married to that house, we transfer all our problems to that family. We don't allow the girl to enjoy her marriage. Then you will see each time the man throws an insult, I'm coming down to mental abuse. Sometimes the man will keep insulting her. Something where your family they depend only on me. This your family, they born me self now. When they start talking to a woman like that, mentally she is broken. Yes, she is broken, because she will be weighed down. She will not know what to say. You cause your son-in-law to pay the fees of all the other siblings. Did that son-in-law ask you to deliver those children? You did, so you are responsible for them. Some people, when once they ask that question, who's that man they work? Immediately the girl marries, they transfer all problems to that family. Come on, our daughters and our sisters, they have a right to enjoy their marriages. When you transfer every problem, every little problem, and you call my son-in-law, every little problem you call, every little when you know what you are doing, causing to your daughter in that house. Every time you call, they remind your daughter that your family is too dependent on me. Yes. Have you ever thought that if this man were my son, and somebody is bothering him like this, how will I feel? Have you ever thought of it? I'm talking to the families of the girl. We have transferred our problems to our in-laws, and then we are so miserable. We even forget that our son-in-law has become our son. Then you give conditions to them. When you are giving those conditions, I tell you, you are giving conditions so that they should rough handle your daughter wherever she is married. Henry said, I need to inbox you for some advice, Mom. Yes, my dear, I'm waiting. I'm always ready for that. That is my job. Inbox me and I will readily respond. We'll chat over it and also pray over it. If you are a family member, there are some girls who grow up in families, their sister go and marry, and they look as if their sister's husband is their husband. All their problems, they go to their sister's husband. You have to stop it. And you, that father who is depending only on your in-laws, you have to stop it. Allow your daughter or your sister or your whoever to enjoy their marriage. Most marriages, the people are not enjoying because of us who are relatives. We have to stop it. Abusive relationships have so many reasons, so many triggers. Families in laws are triggers. Rice says, what can we do to the woman that will do everything to stop the husband from having children, from their children. I don't know, stop the woman from their children. Please be a bit more explicit so that I understand and other people understand, because many people are here who can give responses. Brenda, welcome. We need to, please just ask that question again in a more, do you mean stopping the husband from seeing the children or from having children, or what do you really mean? Be explicit so that we know how to answer you correctly. So when you are doing those things, know that you are opening up your daughter or your son to abuse. There is emotional abuse. Sometimes the man is preparing to have an intimate time with the wife. Then the father-in-law will call and bring and say many and bring about a lot of problems. When you call like that, you have disturbed a whole lot. They will not be able to make their love again, enjoy themselves, because the man now will be angry. Oh, this is my father-in-law again. Are you that father-in-law or mother-in-law or sister-in-law who each time your son-in-law sees your call, they had the cut, and then they start wondering what to do. Hey, the girl, I'm happy you are here, my dear. Happy you are here.
I'm telling you, Mom. I think I've just come. I was just lying, preparing to go to work soon. I'm coming because I'll just put in some quick contributions. I'm just coming in because I want to tell some ladies some ladies can stand against that fact. But when some ladies are comfortable with it, you see so many ladies that will stay. This cohabitation of partners, because they feel most men, when you talk to some of the men, they've actually gone to try. They've gone to pay the bride price, but the demands are so much that they cannot meet up. And so the ladies just decide that, you know what, let's just do this. Let's just stay. When they think when they're happy with what we have, they're gonna call us to come over. Then secondly, Ricewood, I understand what Ricewood was trying to say. He was asking if what if the woman is keeping the children away from the father. So that's the main thing I came up. There's something happened. There's something it's very easy. I've said it before that it is not, a woman should never keep your children away from their dad, no matter how bad the father is. Never blackmail your kids. Never blackmail your kids' father in front of them. Like, don't insult them, because seriously, because at the end of the say Baba yeah, Bobby Tina is my mom, shut up, your husband was saying. So so I usually say, no matter how bad a man is, I just advise fellow women. I know it is really difficult. A man might have treated you badly, a man might have betrayed you, a man might have done so much. No matter how bad the man is, please don't risk it. Don't risk your children's life. Don't because it's your and you know what? When it comes to girls, at the end of the day, girls usually go back to their dad, to their parents, to their fathers. Yeah, all the women, even men. So at times, just deal with it. Just deal with it. So, Momo, just saying, what you're saying is really, really true. I really don't like this very topic about bride price. You see some people suffering from domestic violence. It's not because this man really want to beat this girl. It's just the anger of what she spent, what this man spent. And at times, this man will spend this money, and this lady is not ready to work so hard to reciprocate, like to top up the money. You understand now? To top up the money. When you spend that money and you come to a lady and the lady is so lazy, when the lady becomes so lazy, the man now starts getting angry. Right, I've spent this money for your bride price. I think, or you will come in and you will help me for us to top up this money so that things will become easier. You've come in and you're instead very lazy. Especially some women that you go and marry back home. You go marry some women back home, you spend too much money, you pay the flight, you bring the woman back here, the woman not be ready to help you, then the woman add stress again. And for that reason, you see the man that start hit the woman. So at times somebody will come and say, oh, there is no reason a man should lay his hands on a woman. All of them are 100% right. But what did that woman do? Because even the Bible says, parents, do not push your children to anger. The same as wives, do not push your husband to anger. If you know that your husband has anger problem, there is a way you can deal with it. You know,
Exactly.
you must not, if your master not give us spark, may you spark. When it is shout, you shout. You not say the shouting go offend me. You know, yes. So these are some of the things. And when you shout like that, the man remember the kind of price he pays. The only way he can release the anger is to give you a big slap.
You're right.
Yeah. Yes. Right. So, mom, that's all I wanted to say. You're really you're doing well. You're doing well.
Before you go, one question. Before you go, I just want to ask, what do you advise? How do you advise the women who are experiencing abuse already? What advice do you have for them?
The advice I will first give a lady is check yourself. Are you the cause of that abuse? Because people always say, oh, divorce. Abuse as an attitude. There's abuse as an attitude, and there's abuse that has been pushed. There are some men that are not used to beating women. There are some men that if you tell their mom that they touched a woman, their mom will never believe it because they were growing up. They didn't know their sons like a kind that would beat a woman. But if you know some women, some women are so what kind of language what kind of term can I use? When a man when a man is about to say something, you just come in you just bring your face. You know that kind of, like a boy was complaining to me that she has this kind of a woman that whenever they have a misunderstanding, the next thing, beat me. And I was like, what's the meaning of that? And when you start saying, beat me, you go kill me for here. I go call police, beat me. When are you not the one that asks? If you say beat me, they'll beat you, no. They just say hug me. If you say hug me, somebody will hug you. If you say beat me, the person will beat you.
Yes, you're right.
But think, what am I to this man? You know, this man never used to beat me. What is happening? Why is he beating me? Like this? Is there something I need to change? Or what is his trigger? Yes, what is his trigger? Yeah, and they say there's no excuse to abuse. There's no excuse to abuse. Why do you beat your child? Why, when your child does something wrong, very wrong, repeatedly? You understand what I mean? True, there is no excuse for abuse, and I don't blame any man. But if you want to start divorcing because of abuse, the whole world will divorce, because some of us we are either supporting abuse, either mentally, physically, or even the only body language. Body language, you can abuse somebody with just your body language. Somebody can talk to you and you will not respond, but just the way you look at the person, that's a big abuse. You prefer the punch, like somebody like my dad. My dad, when you talk to my dad, when you do something wrong, my dad won't call you to shout. My dad will just send you one sentence. And that sentence he will send to you, you can be traumatized for the rest of that. Why you did it. You understand? So there are so many ways for abuse. Some of us, we think that to abuse is only to punch. The highest way to abuse person is trauma. The only way we are preventing the punching abuse is because of death, harm. You can deform somebody and you can kill somebody. But this trauma, the worst abuse is when you ignore somebody. You don't get your person, your problem with your master for house. The person, he ignore you. Like for 1 week, you talk for you feel die, if you commit suicide. You understand? So if you have a man, if you got married to a man, if you're dating a man and the man is beating you and you get married to that man, you deal with it, because the man already showed you his tactics before getting married. You understand what I mean, Mom? If you are dating a man and the man is beating you, and in the course of the dating, and you risk it to get married to the man, don't complain that the man is beating you, because he already showed you during and your training days that he's a beating person and you're comfortable with it. You know what I mean? So if you have a man that has been beating you from the day from the first day, and you accept and you got married to him knowing that he's a beating man, you deal with it. But if you know that this man was never hitting you, and out of a sudden he starts, and you think, you sit down you sit on your quiet day, and you think, you like, what did I do? Why is he hitting me now? What is happening? Like, why is he hitting? Why is he hitting me now? You understand? So, say no to all forms of abuse. You know? There must be abuse in a relationship in one way or the other. Let's not beat around the bush. If a man is not abusing you with physically, the man will abuse you emotionally. Yes, the man will abuse you I don't promote abuse. I'm saying that if you have a man that never used to beat you and all of a sudden that man hits you, ask him, what am I doing? You can always dialogue. If you see that is that man attitude, you go away from it. I've never advised divorce except for abuse. Don't divorce your husband. Except for abuse. Even cheating is abuse. Is cheating not abuse? Abusing your body. Cheating is abuse. So there are all forms of abuse.
Yes, so
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, my dear.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right,
Let me,
Mom. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Yeah, I want to say, and Mercy said, pointed out something about, she said, there is, my dear, we spank kids for correction, but you don't put your hand on an adult. If you can't take it, have a conversation and reconsider. Yes, I think Mama Talaku came back towards that direction too, because I was going to say, you have to analyze yourself. I said it over and over. When you find out that you are in an abusive relationship, first of all, think, what am I doing that triggers this? Are there any triggers from my side? Are there anything opening the doors that I open from my side? Then you try to see how you can work on that. But I tell you, there are different forms of abuse. There's physical abuse, there is mental abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's sexual abuse. There are different forms of abuse, and when somebody finds themselves in any of this form, it is a killer. It is a killer disease. I say it every time. Somebody says, Stella says, talking of abuse, there is no physical reason for anyone to feel that they have the right to abuse another. You are right. There is no reason. That is why I started off by saying, let each of us, I started by saying abuse is unacceptable. But let us analyze what are some of the triggers to this abuse. What are some of the things that promote this abuse? And I started off by analyzing from the way the marriage is constructed, from the way family members behave even towards the men, from this question of what did he work, from the fact that you have to pay this amount because my sponsor my daughter up to university, you have to pay this because my daughter is fair in complexion, you have to do this because of that. Those are some of the triggers. Because, and then I'm also telling the men, you don't have to accept to get married to somebody under such conditions, and then you go and begin to disturb to punish the person, because there is no, in fact, I have, just like Tawe says, I have zero tolerance for abuse, for all forms of abuse. You don't have to abuse. Some men just stand up and beat their wives in front of their children as if their wives are children too. I say no to that, and vice versa. Some women just talk anyhow to their men through words at their men that traumatizes them mentally throughout. That is also not acceptable. As Mama Taraku said, you don't have to humiliate your husband or your children's father in front of the children. You don't have to separate your children from their father for any reason. But at the same time, living in an abusive relationship is a dangerous thing, and all of us have to think about it and move away from it. All Amen says, a man can't just get up one day and start abusing you without a cause. Please, ladies, examine yourselves and go in for sincere dialogue. That is very true, my brother, but there are some men who just jump up and do that. That is true, very, very true. But there are some men who, maybe because they have been, I know of a case where the man had been advised, he was a very good man, very good, doing things with the husband, treating the wife well. But one time, because of his friends, peer pressure, his friends told him that woman, that people are laughing at you, that woman has bought you over, you cannot be a woman, you are a woman rapper, and then the man changed. So there's some rare cases like that. But I want to really say that abuse in a relationship is uncalled for. It should be eliminated. Whoever, whether you are the abuser or you are the one causing the abuse, if you are a parent, if you are parents that have sold your daughter as if you are selling an article, know that you are causing an abuse, you are provoking an abuse to be in a family. We need to sensitize our families. Let's sensitize our families to stop this. Our families have to stop the idea of always of making children, making our daughters that they are being sold. Mercy is coming online. We need to stop it. We need to make our people know that marriage is a beautiful thing. When God created Eve, he did not sell Eve to Adam. So we don't have to sell our children to their husbands. We have to let love be the first thing. And to the men who abuse, whoever you are, whatever you think you are, you have to stop it. Vice versa, even there are some women who also abuse. If you are an abuser, know that you are not living God's will, and you as God's image, you are doing the wrong thing. Welcome, Mercy, beautiful Mercy. I'm happy you are here, my dear. Welcome.
Thank you,
Over
Mommy
to you.
T. Thank you. So I saw this topic going on, and I said, let me give my own contribution.
Yes, very
This is
important.
something that I've talked about as well, and this is something that we should just keep talking about it because it's just a lot going on. We can never get exhausted talking about abuse.
Yes.
So yeah, my contribution, I heard from the beginning, you were talking about bride price and all those things. Yeah, bride price, sometimes bride price differs depending on the tribe, depending on where that person is from, depending on people's people's
Families, yes.
pers- people's personal character, how they look at it. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm against the point of people overpricing people to get married to their kids. To me,
Yeah,
that's like selling. But
yeah.
on the other hand, you can't dictate to a parent who suffered for their kids what they have to do. This is what they deem is appropriate. And I feel like if you're a man getting married to a woman, you shouldn't look at monetary value as anything. If you can afford it, give it to them and gain a wife. To me, I feel like no money can buy that wife. To me, you're gaining a wife. That money won't mean anything. And the abusive part, I just feel like it's ignorance, because some people will say, oh, I paid this amount of money, I bought you. You can never buy a human being. You can never buy anybody. Okay, first of all, as a man, if you value your wife, no matter how much you pay to the parents, it will never equate the value of that woman to you, because you know that your wife is more than anything. Your wife is priceless. No amount of money can buy her. Okay, so the abuse part is just a no-no. To me, it's a no-no. And I kind of a little bit I respect everybody's view, but I kind of a little bit contradictory to the point where, especially in the African community, when a man starts beating a woman, it's always like, oh, what did you do to that man? What did you? People don't look at the root cause of it. Okay, first of all,
Yes.
everybody have self-control. Okay, if you cannot be hitting somebody because that person was talking rudely to you, if you cannot take the heat of it, if that person is talking, leave the scene. Okay, there is absolutely no excuse for you to put your hand on anybody. We are talking of physical abuse now. There is
Yes.
absolutely no reason why a man should raise his hand on a woman, or a woman raise her hand on a man. Everybody keep your hands to yourself. There are boundaries. As much as marriage is a union of two people, and you feel like sometimes you are equal, you feel like sometimes you're not equal, but there should be mutual respect for each other. Respect
Exactly.
people's spaces. Respect each other's individual spaces. As much as we are a couple, we hold each other, we do whatever, but at certain times, there should be that respect, that mutual respect for their individuality. You
Yeah.
can't, you can't be talking. First of all, I know that women generally, we are created in a way that we talk a lot. Okay, we talk more than men. That's how God created us. But let me say this: if you are a man and you are getting married to a woman, know that you are getting married to a woman. Those times are going to arise. Okay, first of all, if you're getting married, means you're an adult. You are an
Yeah.
adult that has decided that I am getting into this committed relationship, for better or for worse, for better or for worse, applies to when she is being mouthy. So if her mouth is running so bad that you can't take it, leave the scene. Take the car, go somewhere, or just leave, go somewhere. Let me tell you, a lot of people have lost their lives because of this. You feel like, oh, she was talking at me. African men always say, she's crushing my ego. She's doing that. Oh, she think I'm not a man. Let me tell you, in the heat of that moment, you can kill somebody accidentally. You don't let anybody, nobody should push you, have that power over you to make you commit murder. Nobody should be able to push you, to have that authority over you, to push you over the edge to do something that is not right. If you have an abusive spouse, you feel that you can't take it, okay? It could be emotional abuse, whatever form of abuse, because emotional abuse sometimes it hurts more than physical.
Yeah, it's more
Because
dangerous.
if you have a spouse that constantly puts you down, you are nothing, you are this, every time, nothing you do is good, okay? They make you feel like you are nothing, you start getting depressed and things like that. If you feel like that relationship is not working, because most times, other forms of abuse always result to the physical one. Then you see people start fighting, you see people start doing things crazily. If you feel like emotionally somebody is pushing you to an extent that you can't take it, please reconsider your decision on that marriage, okay? I know people are going to judge. Most of our African community, people in the African community stay in these marriages because they feel like, what are my people going to say? People are going to say, I am 30, I don't have a husband. I am 40, I don't have a husband. I am this. Nobody know where the shoe hurts but you. That's the thing. Nobody know where the thing is hurting. Nobody knows how behind closed doors you feel. Nobody knows how you cry on your pillow every night. Nobody knows how you drive, you don't want to come home. Nobody knows how your kids see you cry every day. Okay, so what I want to say, whatever decision you're taking when it pertains to marriage, self-happiness first. Be happy, okay? Because most of our African men, most of our African women, we stay in marriage just to bear the title of Mrs. and Mr.
You're
That
right.
is a trophy. Yes, it's like a trophy. You want to be a Mr., want to be a Mrs., but at the end of the day, you are dying. You are not happy in your marriage. Sit down. If there's something going on, communicate about it. Seek counsel. Seek professional counseling. Go to a pastor, whoever that you know can say something better. If you've tried all those and it's not working, you think that somebody is going to lose their life, I'll advise you to reconsider that marriage. Life is better than marriage. That's one thing people don't understand. Life is better than marriage. You have your life. You can always see somebody that will treat you for the queen and the king that you are. You can always see somebody that will value you for what you are, for who you are, for the value you bring into the marriage. Some people will never see it. No matter how you do it, they will never see it. And to those people, you can never change a human being. You can't change them to see things the way you're seeing them. As much as you've tried counseling, you've tried a lot of things and you feel like you will die, okay? Because out there, people might not see the physical abuse of you coming out with a black eye or anything, but emotionally in you, you are dying. You are high, you are having hypertension, you're having all these unnecessary diseases on you because of the stress you're having in your marriage. Please, as much as we are working for our marriages, as much as you're striving for it, fight for your marriage first, okay? I'm not saying that if a man beats you, just get up, or if a man does something, you just get up, I'm leaving. No, fight for your marriage. Go for counseling, do something. And then if it's not working, if you know that you will die in that marriage, life is better than marriage. Quit. You can quit. You quit that marriage. A lot of African women will stay married and say, I'm staying for my kids. I'm staying for my children.
And they
Listen,
die.
if you die, those kids will not have you. If you die, these children will not have a mother. Okay? If a man is hitting you, if a man is beating you up, my sister, pack your things and leave. One life, now one life day. Do not sacrifice yourself. Let me tell you, if you sit there and with a fake name of Mrs. where you are not happy, the fake name of you want to be a mother, I want to show that I'm keeping my kids together and things like that. First of all, these kids are seeing you emotionally, you are not stable. You're not a stable mother. Because if you're not happy, you don't treat your kids well. People don't know this, but subconsciously, these things take a toll on us.
Yes.
you are not happy, your home is not happy. They say when mom is happy, the home is happy. If you're not happy, the kids sense it and they know that you are not happy. First of all, you are teaching your girl child that it is okay to live in an abusive relationship. It is
Exactly.
okay. It is okay for a man to beat you up. It is okay to feel less about yourself. You're teaching your kid to know that it is okay to devalue yourself to an extent that all you care about is a Mrs. title and not the value that you have in you as the queen that you are. So if a marriage, if you have somebody that is beating physically, because physically can really just kill you in a second. If somebody is
Yes.
beating you, pack your things, pack your belongings, shut down your ears to the society, okay?
And leave.
Shut down your
Yes.
ears, do what is best for you. If you have children, do what is best for your children. And you are actually doing what is best for that man because you are saving him a chance of going to jail from killing somebody. So
Yes.
do what is best for you too by leaving that house and move on. And God will give you a man that will value you. God will give you a man that will see you for who you are. God will give you a man that will treat you as the queen that you are. The bottom line is shut down your ears. What kind of a mother do you want to be to your kids? You want to be the kind of mother that your kids will see and will look at you and feel like, oh my God, my mom was the one that would take anything. You know, my dad used to beat her. Your children grow up knowing that abuse is normal. You know, a man
Yes.
can beat you, a man can give you black eye. You can have a factory of dark eye glasses because you have to leave the house with them because they're beating you every day and things like that. No, be a model, okay, to your children. Tell your children that, show your children that they have some value. You cannot
Yes.
go below that value. It's not pride, okay? I'm not a feminist. I'm not those extreme feminists. I'm a traditional wife and I believe in value, okay? I believe that a
Yes.
man is the head of the house. I believe that a husband is at the head. My husband is my king. That's what I believe. But at the same time, marriage is not assigned slavery. I am not a slave.
Exactly.
I will not die because I'm married. Marriage is me and him coming together, understanding our values, understanding what we sign up for as a covenant of him being the head, me assisting. Sometimes it might seem like we are equal because sometimes my decision matters because I give my decisions, I suggest, he suggests, we discuss about it and try to look into it. Okay, it's not an institution of somebody just dictating to you because they are the husband, somebody beating you because they're the husband. You are the woman, you got to do this, you got to cook. Africa, people will beat up women because they came home, there was no food. Okay, all these things are unnecessary. Okay, they are unnecessary. If a man doesn't value you, there are real men out here that value women. There are men out here that will do anything to make sure their wives are comfortable. And some of our sisters are so blinded that because a lot of them have gone through these abusive relationships, all they know is abuse. They don't believe that there is any good man out there.
Exactly.
All they know is that this man is, since I dated somebody that cheated on me, I was beating me. There is no good man out there that will not cheat. There's no good man out there that will not beat me. There's no, listen, if you don't try it, you will not see it. That
Yes.
is it. If you remain in that marriage and die, we have a lot of statistics that women have died because they try to stay because of our ignorant parents feel like when you are married, you have to go back to your husband's house. Oh no, he's beating you, go and settle things with your husband and things like that. Feeling they're making abuse seems normal. They are making abuse feel like it's something that has to happen. No man has the right whatsoever to raise his hands on a woman. Woman, you don't have the right whatsoever to raise on your hands on a man. Don't
Exactly.
provoke your husband. Don't talk rudely to him. Sometimes we do. Everybody is human. Purposefully, don't provoke anybody. Everybody keep your hands to yourself and enjoy your marriage. And God bless you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you so much. God bless you too.
You're welcome.
Yes. You see, thank you so much, Mercy. That is what we are talking about. Nobody has the right to lay their sexually or mentally. We don't have the right. Each one of us, as she has beautifully defined marriage, just like Tambe has said, two imperfect people coming together to become perfect. That is what marriage should be. So when you get married, you are not getting married to a military camp where there is a commander who should be commanding people. You are getting married to somebody who is your partner, and together you people bring ideas in order to make a better family. Many children, look, if you want to look at the effects of abuse today, there are many women who don't want to get married. There are many women who don't want to get married because they have grown up in families where there is abuse. There are some who have just seen their friends being abused. Vice versa, even men. There are many men who say, no, I will not get married. A woman is a devil. Just because they have witnessed abuse. So, Mercy, thank you so much, my beautiful daughter. Thank you. Your intervention was very timely, just as Christy's on. When we share like this, we join in our different fora and share. It is very, very important. Abuse is not allowed in any form. In any form. So I like the way you have advised. You know, the church keeps telling people that you don't have to divorce. That is the traditional African church. They tell people you don't have to divorce. When you divorce, once you are divorced, you are a sinner. Even when a woman is in fact violated beyond reasonable limits, they keep telling her you don't have to leave. I want to ask this question to all of us in here. What do women do in the face of a situation where you are being abused, you are suffering? Vice versa, women and men. I said earlier that I will be calling women women because women suffer more. What do people do when they find themselves in an abusive relationship and when they are not to leave? Because I've seen the people have come to my office and have told me that they are suffering because they've gone to their pastors and their pastors have said they should continue to stay there. What do we do in such? I think people have ideas. Either you put it there or you come on board. You indicate and I'll invite you. Somebody is there. Let me see. Yes. Somebody, I'm adding Beta, I'm adding you. Of us are suffering from this. Let us try to look at the triggers, to stop the triggers by sensitizing people. And also there's somebody who made a comment saying that women should look at themselves. Yes, women should look at themselves. Both women and men. If you are in an abusive relationship, try to understand, why am I abused? Do I cause in any way? And then you solve that problem. But I tell you, there is no reason for abuse and people should not be abused. I'm adding Beta. She's not coming on. Let me see if there's another person also. It's still Beta. Let me like this. We should be careful when we look at marriage from our different, our guest is not answering. Beta, I have invited you. Please answer I've added you so you can answer. If not, we continue with our discussion. There are some families where we see more of physical abuse, but there are some families where mental abuse has become the talk of the day. People, we say in gender work, I am a gender activist. I'm not a feminist. I look at the things from both perceptions, both perspectives. And I'm not saying that feminism is a bad thing. There is nobody who is a gender activist without being a feminist as a woman. And there's no male who is a gender activist without being a chauvinist. The thing is, you try to, when you are looking at it from a gender perspective, you look at everything. Now, we talk about physical abuse more than mental abuse. In a family where the man or the woman has resorted to give you mental stress, emotional stress, it is so painful. It is so painful when somebody's emotions have been broken down by the partner. This is happening. We say it in our gender work that the forms of gender-based violence, they are changing. They are now migrating from physical, because physical is visible. People see it. They are migrating from physical now to they are migrating from physical to more of emotional. So the question is, do we want emotional abuse to continue, because people are developing hypertension, people are dying slowly. There is slow killing because of emotional abuse. And this emotional abuse is wrapped up in mental abuse is wrapped up in physical. When somebody is physically abused for such a long time, even when you stop abusing her physically, she remains with that those memories remain, they follow her. Then you see her broken down always because of that. You see her broken down always because of that. So we need to check. We need to check these issues. Now, sexual abuse is one serious one. Somebody says, do you know women abuse men emotionally these days? Yes. There are many women abuse men emotionally, my brother. Some of them some women just decide to refuse sex to their husbands. And then the man frustrates until he goes out of home. And we are saying here that there is just no reason for abuse. Whether it is physical, it is mental, it is emotional, or it is sexual. There is no reason to abuse. We say no to all forms of abuse in a relationship. Why do you refuse to give, why do you refuse sex from your partner because you people are quarreling on something else? It doesn't make sense. It's better. The Bible says that we should not allow the sun to go down on our wrath. It is better to fix up what is making you people angry so that you can be intimate with each other. That is one of the reasons why you got married. Marriage has different reasons, different things, different objectives. One of it is for you people to be intimate. And you cannot use that same reason as a whip. Many women are using it as a whip. Sometimes just not talking, you snub your partner beyond reasonable limits. Your partner does not even know what crime he committed or she committed, but you are not talking with her or him. You have just decided to be quiet. We don't have to do that. No man or woman should abuse. Mercy, you are right. No man or woman should abuse anybody. That is what we are talking about. Are you living in an abusive relationship? If you are, it is time to fix up the relationship or you move on. Many people have died, my brothers and sisters. As I said, I watched a film 2 nights ago. The man was abusing the woman. You come and drive a woman from the sitting room not to watch TV. You don't want the woman to work. You don't want the woman to discuss with anybody. You don't want the woman to have friends, because each time you will beat the woman up if somebody calls her on the phone. How can a woman have a phone? You don't want anybody to call her. She picks up the phone, it's a slap. She sits to watch TV, it's a slap. And then you come and chase her away from the sitting room. She moves to the room and immediately you want to make love with her. Really? And then when she says no, because she is feeling really, she's still angry from what you have just done. You have just physically abused her in the sitting room by giving her a slap to have been watching TV. You say, no, I have the right for this, and then you stuff her to death. That is terrible. That is slavery. Yes, Faith, it is slavery. You stuff her, you take the pillow and you stuff her to death. You sniff life out of her, and then you start pretending and lying, telling people that you were just sleeping with her, and then you turned and saw her dead. We start asking ourselves, many of these people who are just discovered dead in their rooms, is it not, abusive relationship not one of the major causes? We start asking ourselves, because somebody just wake up in the night and then they say, we have done this or that. Yes, Mercy, that is rape. That is what I was shouting when I was watching that film. I was shouting and saying, this is rape. You cannot say that this woman has refused to sex. Sex is a consensual thing. You know, many of us are suffering from mental, emotional abuse. If you are one of them, so yes, Taco, that's true. You should know that film. If any of us is suffering from this kind of abuse, or we know somebody suffering from this kind of abuse, this discussion today is for us to know that we each have to stand up and say no. Just like the way Mercy spoke, that is how we should speak to people who are living in abuse and to those who are abusers. We have to start telling them There is just no reason why somebody should live in an abusive relationship. There is no reason why you should lay your hand on somebody. There's no reason why you should break down somebody emotionally. There's no reason why somebody should get married to you because of trauma. There's something that Christy brought up, and I want to bring it back. She said many people are living in come we stay these days. My question about come we stay is, because when I look at come we stay, come we stay for me is that kind of relationship where two people just decide to be staying together. The family does not know, nobody knows. If it is a come we stay because somebody is pricing so much, and or somebody wants to get married to somebody and they are forcing that person to get married to the other person because the other person is more viable than this one, I will say that is not come we stay. But because of bride price, we have forced many people to come we stay. Mercy said one important thing. Bride price is not a bad thing. As I said earlier, that when I did a research, I discovered that bride price used to be like a contract, like a discussion, like feasting together. Two families wanting to come together through their son and daughter. And so they do something, my dialect they call it ibibo. They do some significant thing for them to know that we have today, from today on, we are together. But when people have started pricing women as if they are pricing articles, that is where the problem is. You start putting, I don't think bringing up a child is your responsibility that God has given you. It is the responsibility of a parent. When once you deliver a child, you have the responsibility to bring up that child. And the Bible even says, bring up that child to the fear of the Lord. Yes, faith, symbolic. Bride price should be symbolic, not one exorbitant price. Now, if you bring up your child properly as God has said it, and then you start thinking that because I brought up this child, somebody wants to come and marry the child, you have to pay back all what I used to bring up that child. I think I may not be right, but I think it's wrong. Even if I'm not right, I think it is wrong for a parent to think that because I brought up my child, I spent money for my child, I educated my child, somebody who wants to get married to this child has to pay me back. No. You were just doing what you were supposed to do. That child had a right for you to spend in bringing up that child. So it should not be a condition for marriage. Bride price or dowry or whatever, however they call it in whichever, in India, I was shocked because when I went there, women are the ones who pay the dowry, the bride price to the men. So it depends on culture. But we are saying that our own culture, where the man is the one who pays bride price, some families have turned this bride price into something that they are using to sell. They are selling somebody. And then when they sell, the people who buy, they go and ignorantly, they also misuse people because in the name of I paid bride price. Yes, mercy is ignorance. It's ignorance. And we are saying that they should stop this. You still have to be afraid because everything in Nigerian film happens in real life. Yes. Yes. Somebody should not say that it's a film. All these films, I am an actress. I do a lot of artistic work. We act what happens. It may not have happened to anybody around, but it is a story that must have happened somewhere. So when we see those things, they are happening. We should stop thinking that those things are just happening. Kingsley, when I invite you, you don't come on. When I add you, you don't answer. If you really want to come on, when I add you, you should answer immediately, please. Now, I'm still waiting for anybody who wants to come on board. Anything that we see on a film, in a film, is reality. So I want us to individually, like what Mercy has said to us, I think we have learned a lot from there. And even what Mama Atalaku said, I learned a lot from those two. And even what all of us are saying, all the comments on the comment box, we should take time and read them. We need to use that knowledge that we are gathering like this to help our individual families. Let's talk to our individual people in our families. Let's conscientize our parents, our larger family, let's conscientize them. Let's make them to understand that there is no way you can sell a human being. You should not sell a human being for any reason. Let's make them to understand that some of these problems that are coming up is because of that. Yes, welcome, Kingsley.
Thank you.
Right. Yes, over to you.
Yes, I just got a number of issues that I needed to clarify. I'll start with the issue of the blame culture where victims are blamed. And
Yes.
I've seen a number of people saying that the woman should search herself, should reflect. You're putting the onus back on the person who is being abused to take the steps to check. No one has said that the man who is taking the action to abuse should check themselves to see what is causing them to actually beat that person that is meant to be either the mother of their children, is meant to be an equal partner in a relationship, is meant to be someone to be loved and cherished.
That's an important
They are the
point.
abusers, and in most places where the woman is being abused, it's like depression. It's like telling the person who is depressed to look for a solution. They are trapped, and often when you start telling them to look for a solution, you're just digging more the hole for them. So I think that blame culture and telling the woman who is being abused is first of all very wrong. It's very wrong. I just dropped there in the comment section in some of the statistics here in the UK. There is a lot of domestic violence. It is, I mean, the amount of people, women who get killed by the intimate partner is higher than most deaths that occur on traffic accidents and others. Maybe because they don't talk about it a lot, but it happens. Yes. This has nothing to do with high bride price. It just has to do with a man who just feels that he has the ability to crush another person. So even if, I'm not really a fan of bride prices, but I don't think bride price in itself makes a man, because if you don't really value the woman, you won't pay. You only pay because you place a value. But the thing that I thought I should really challenge was when Mama Atalaku said, when they come here, some people want to come and you think that they will come and help. The woman is not a commercial object. She's not coming here to help you. And most often, the people here, I lived in the UK with a lot of guys who come and stay with me, and I see that they don't even know what days they've been as taken out. They don't know what days things are being done in the house. They don't know how to clean the garden. And then they bring a woman from Cameroon or from Africa, and you want that woman to automatically switch over and know everything. And when she doesn't know, you think that she's not supporting. I stay with guys and I watch. If you live here and you cannot do these things yourself and you expect that the woman will automatically switch, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way. And so when it starts there, it starts growing, it becomes a cancer, and it starts eating into the relationship. You know what? The man now expresses his frustration in violence. It could be physical, it could be emotional, but there is absolutely no justification. I'm happy you did mention that there are a lot of men who are also physically abused or emotionally abused. And I think it goes two ways. Just that the statistics are higher with the women, and maybe because physically women will not stand the amount of violence that are meted out, and women will slow. It's very slow for women to actually be the first ones to hit. And often when they say the woman says hit me, hit me, hit me, a woman who says hit me is often saying that because it's a defense mechanism. The man has hit her before. And so when he starts doing something, she knows that that is the ultimate result. So she's simply saying, you know, I know that your response to everything is to hit me. Hit me. She's not saying it because she likes to be hit.
Yeah.
She's not saying it's because she likes to be hit. She's saying that because she knows that that's the ultimate response. And, you know, I've often told men that hit women, I said, it just shows how weak you are. Because if you cannot deal with things and discuss them, if you cannot analyze the situation, if you cannot engage with someone and you understand exactly why something is happening. If someone is starts
go on
changing, you need to ask yourself, what am I not doing right? Because people often think that the woman is just there to serve the man. It's not that case, especially when we have, okay, I will just give a classic example. The woman here in the UK, she has to go to work like you. She has to do shifts, she has to work like you. Then she has to come back. And I've seen Cameroonians, Africans, I've seen where the guy comes and he sits down there, and then she's just come back from a shift and she has to go into the kitchen and get food to serve you. Come on, this woman has just finished a 12-hour shift or a 15-hour shift, and she has to serve you again on top of that. And then when she finished serving you, and then she goes and manages to get a bath, comes into the bedroom. The next thing is that you want sex. Come on.
She's an animal.
When she says no, then you say, oh, the only people know the story only from the fact that the woman refused sex. No one knows that the woman has gone through a lot throughout her day. This guy has not sat once and said, oh, hey, mommy, how this is, are you feeling? Can you just let me just help me with this, so that she can also have a moment to rest. Sex is something that the environment has to be perfect. It's not just for the man to feel that he's got an erection and then he thinks that, okay, you know what, everything goes. If the woman is not in the mood, she's not in the mood. And sometimes if you haven't given her the opportunity to rest, to relax, and to actually feel calm, it wouldn't work. So it turns out to be something that she never, and when it happens over and over and over, she loses interest in it and she starts using it as a weapon. And I just think these are all the things that we need to take into consideration. So often, I am a man, but I often say that the responsibility lies with the man. In whatever situation, I'll tell you the responsibility lies 100% with the man who started hitting the woman. If the woman starts behaving somewhere where I think she's coming to that stage where well, I don't know if I'll get to the stage where I have to hit her. But if it were even getting possible, then I'll start asking myself, what can I do to make sure that I take away those triggers? What can I do? Because I can see it coming. I can see it coming. And rather than just wait until it gets to that stage where I become that bully, where I just hit her, I have to be able to control that and to be able to, I don't even believe in hitting kids. My mom never beat me, but guess what? She's the one person that I fear and respect in the world today more than anyone else. She never hit me physically. She never did. When I say people are surprised, my mom she's an African woman. My dad used to beat me, beat his own share, beat my mom's share. But you know what? The more she beat me, the more I got used to it and the more I wanted to do stuff because I actually already knew my punishment.
Yes,
so
you're right.
So I just think we need to really stand against this and stop the blaming culture because it's too much. In the UK, there's been a lot. People are not believed. Women are not believed here. Even with all these resources, they say they're not believed. Sometimes, especially even with rape, they're not believed. And you know, they cannot open up. They cannot talk. And one last point I want to make is about sticking in a marriage. You know, if the man hits you the first time, once, no matter how many flowers he buys, you have to be watching out. If there is a sign that he'll hit you the second time, then he's never going to stop. If he does it the first time, because there is no, I've never understood how you marry a woman. What a man and a woman share is something that the man never shares with any other person in his family. You might love your mother, your brother, your sister, but the intimacy you share with your wife, you don't share with those people. So if you get to the stage where you start treating them like a piece of a punching bag, something is already very wrong. And so if it gets to that stage, I will often tell the woman, you know what? Your life is on the line. I just heard a story a few days ago. I don't know, where a woman was thrown off a story building by the husband.
Wow.
Yes, a woman was thrown off a story building and she died. And then, and the first thing I asked was how often had the abuse been going? They say, oh, for so long. You know, she kept thinking that it was going to stop. It does not stop. It only ends in death. Yes, here like I said, they are whites. They beat and kill. So it's something that is inherent in the man who is the abuser, irrespective of what culture they come from. I'm an African. I wasn't born here. I came here when I was already an adult. So I don't think that is a value I've learned here. I just grew up knowing that it's wrong.
Exactly.
And the fact that I know, growing up in Africa, growing up in the hinterlands of Cameroon, and I just know that intrinsically within me that it is wrong, and that's not the way to go about it. I think it is something that comes from within the man, and it's not something that you did. And it often comes from the surrounding, how people cultivate their home, how they respect each other. I've got friends here. I watch them. Whenever I go to their houses, I watch how they deal. I know the ones that the most harmonious families are the one where when the man comes back, he says, oh, he goes into the kitchen. As he goes into the kitchen, the wife will be like, oh, can you bring me this from the kitchen? He brings back You know, there is that collaboration, whoever is going in. And when I go into the house also, there is not that thing where they say, go and sit down and we'll come and serve you. People, everyone, and when people finish eating, they go and wash their plate. Because if you
Yes.
start leaving one person to become the one person who does all the work, takes care of the child, and look after everything, you know what? You are burdening that person, and one day they will snap. And if they can't abuse you physically, they will start emotionally.
You're right. Wow.
The response is physical. So I just think that we need to actually point the blame. If you raise your hand to blame to hit someone, you are to blame irrespective of what they did. And if we start saying that, then we start ending the culture of abuse. If you raise your hand, if you use abusive words towards someone, irrespective of what they did. I mean, I often use this example. In a game of tennis, you don't decide how the ball comes to you. How you hit it back matters. You know,
Yes.
so you don't decide. Yes, the winning strategy is how you hit the ball back. So if, for example, I come in and I have a wife who is nagging and talking, I think I walk out because I know that I can't stay there and wait for her to continue, because I walk out, and when she calms down, I come back and then I say, okay, well, let's talk about this. Let's go through this and let's understand what is the matter. I mean, you never used to be like this. Trust me, there's always an underlying issue. Go deep, dig deeper. You know, sometimes, one last point, sorry. Another thing is, when people get married, they forget who they were before they got married. Marriage doesn't need to change you. For example, if your husband saw you were someone who loved to dress sexy, you love to put makeup and all that, and then you get married, and then you stop doing those things because you've got married. You think you've crossed the line. No, he stops being attracted to you. Continue doing those things that made him marry you in the first place. And the same to the man. You don't just get married, you had a six-pack, and then you get married. The next thing is that you become pregnant, and you expect the woman you start irritating the woman, and she doesn't see that thing that she saw before she married you. We have to maintain these things and keep the fires burning, and we'll reduce some of the abuse that occur in our relationship. So I just thought I should add some of those. Thank you so much.
Wow, my brother, thank you so much. I give you the glory. I give God the glory for you. You have touched very important points. Very, very important. Thank you. And speaking from the perspective of a man is very important, because other men will see that they are innovators among men. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Wow. Wow. That was a confirmed caller. Wow. As a man, he has said it all. As a man, I talked about the woman, and then I said the man. You don't have to take somebody's child to come and begin to abuse. In Africa, we think that beating is a way of life. There is no home that enjoys life because somebody is very wild. When you are very wild in your home, do you really enjoy that home? That power, that wildness that is shown, that power that is gotten through being wild in your home, do you really enjoy your home? Wow. I beg, somebody wants to come on board. Gina. You already, Gina. And I pray that you come on board. We need to start shouting out about these things. Many men are abused, but the men stay quiet. I pray that we should break the silence. We should break the silence. This video is a form of breaking the silence. And we can break the silence even in our individual places. I have invited you. Please, can you respond? Respond, please. I've invited you already. Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Gina. Welcome, my dear.
Yes, thank you, sister. That brother has hit. I mean, he has hit it hard. Hard. I say hard. I've told him. I've told him to go and take a beer or anything, wine on my beer, and I will pay. Because exactly what that brother is saying, that is what most African men do it. And my sister, it's not only beating, that is abuse. I'm a victim of emotional abuse.
You see?
I nearly died because of emotional abuse. You are in the house with a man, he doesn't want to talk with you. You stay 1 month without talking to each other. And when you ask him, honey, let's sit down and let's talk. What are we talking about? I don't want to talk anything. You go every day, you are depressed. I go to work, I'm depressed. They'll say, the day I took my decision was when I went to work and my blood pressure was, I'm not hypertensive. My blood pressure was 300 about 290 something. I had to take a clonidine from a patient to drink to make my blood pressure go down, and I was sent home. That was the day I took my decision. I said, I will not come and die because of marriage. That was the day I said no to this. Imagine you staying in the house with a man for a month just because he claimed that you raised your voice to him. Just like that brother was saying, oh, yeah, I'm not talking to my wife because he raised my voice to me. So I'm punishing him by not talking. I'm punishing her by not talking to her. How can you punish somebody you call your partner, your wife, for 2 months in the house? You're not talking to your wife. You're not talking to the child. Is that marriage? So it's not only beating, hitting, oh, this. That kind of person who stays, oh, I don't want to talk to her. It's my own way of punishing her. Emotional abuse kills because it brings emotional abuse, give birth to high blood pressure. High blood pressure will in turn give birth to stroke, and stroke will in turn give birth to death. So I saw that and I said, I'm not going to die because of a man, and I had to walk out of that marriage, and I'm happy today. So like Sister Macy said, some people want to stay in and have that trophy. Oh, I've been married a woman, I'm married a woman. And here you are dying every day. There's no trophy. Marriage is a good thing, but if it's not working, my sisters, don't kill yourself. Do not. And our mothers will say, like Mama Talaku, they'll say, pray. Sister, I prayed and I prayed. I even asked people, men of God, to pray for me. I saw all the sick in this world. That man never changed. That man did not change. He did not. I saw sick for prayer for my husband to change. He's not talking to me at home. Pray. Prayer did not change anything. I did. I went on my knees. I cried to God, said, God, what is this? But that man never changed. Instead, the little thing, when I walk into the house, he walks out. When I climb on the bed, he gets up from the bed. That's emotional abuse. Yes, it's difficult. It's hard. It kills. Yes. Because if somebody punch you and hit your head, they can rush you to the emergency. They might try to mend your head or your broken bones. But your heart, sister, you can't mend that heart like that. It's very difficult to mend a heart. So people should stop this abuse. We should continue singing and singing it until I don't know when it will stop. But and our African parents will say, no, persevere. Persevere what? Persevere. Sister. So that brother, he's speaking. He spoke like a man. African men will sit on the floor. Most of women are nurses. You have worked 60 hours, that brother said. You come in the house, the man say you expect to pass him food on the table. Whereas you have cooked food and put in the fridge for this man to eat. This man will tell you, oh, I don't eat frozen food. You have to be cooking me fresh food every day. But yet he sits at home doing nothing. Expect you to come back from a 12-hour shift. I enter the kitchen and cook him fresh food. Whereas there's food in the fridge. Oh, I cannot be eating food that have been frozen. I like to eat fresh food every day. How can't you just help your wife and cook what you want to eat? No, a woman's supposed to do it. If you don't do that, oh, you are disrespecting me. My sister, that is abuse of the highest order. Abuse of the highest. And then people will say, oh, there's nothing bad in saving food for your wife. There's nothing bad, yes, in saving food for your husband when you have, not that when you come back from work, you sit there, everything is you. The man is just there. Oh, I'm the man. I'm your husband. You are supposed to do this to me. I'm your husband. Sister, that is abuse of the highest order. It is a no to me. I'm a victim and I left it and I'm so happy. Thank you,
my dear. Thank you for that testimony. That's a wonderful testimony. And I just want to add that, many people, as our brother Kingsley said, many people want to sit and die. It's a partnership. It is not a master-servant relationship. Kingsley told us that relationship between you and your partner is different from the way you relate with those people of your family. So it is not a master and servant relationship. It's a lover's relationship. And if you need to be considerate, some men are not considerate. They don't seem to see that their wives are tired. They don't seem to see that the woman is working like a woman cannot be working all through her life without resting. She also needs rest. If not, you will not even have her for love making. So we need to stand out. Somebody was shouting and saying, writing there that why did the lady who testified, why did Gina raise her voice on her husband? Let us not be reacting in an imaginary manner. The husband is a human being and the wife is a human being. Everybody is human and we are human. So you want the man to be raising his voice on the woman every day and the woman just being quiet? We are all human. You are looking for fresh food when somebody is tired. How do you think she will not raise her voice on you? There is something, treat somebody the way you would want to be treated. When the Bible says that we should love our neighbors as ourselves, it means that when you want to ask for request for something from your neighbor, and your wife is your neighbor, your husband is your neighbor, you request in such a way that if they request from you, you will also give. So many men in the Western world, as our brother Kingsley said, many marriages are breaking because people don't want to understand each other. You don't go and get married to somebody in Africa and then you bring here and think that the person, the life in the Western world is completely different from the life in Africa. In Africa, you can do anything. But here, everybody has to work because you need to go meet up with your bills. If your wife is working, you are working. Why do you think that you are the only one who gets tired and she doesn't get tired? I don't think that there is any human being who doesn't get tired. All of you get tired. We need to respect each other. It doesn't reduce the power. The power of a man does not reduce when he cooks food. Your power does not reduce when you serve your food and eat. Your power, in fact, I said some time ago that respect is not fear. If you intimidate your partner is serving you out of fear, it is not love and it's not respect. Respect has never been fear. So let's note these things and behave in such a way that when we are, if a woman is cooking, a wise man says you must cook for your husband. Yes, a woman cooks for her husband. It's a pride for a woman to cook for her husband, but it should not be forced. It shouldn't be forced. Cooking is an art and women like doing it. But it shouldn't be the one that you have to take a slap before you cook. If you slap a woman before she cooks food for you, that food will not be good, my dear brothers. Marriage is a union of two people who have decided to come, two imperfect people who have come together and they want to build it up and make their lives perfect. Let us have it at the back of our mind like this, that marriage is for two people who have joined together and they want to make their life beautiful and perfect. Rather than us making marriage to be a center of abuse, we should stop the abuse. Many people are making marriage to be something else. Marriage should not be that thing, that place where people go there and then they suffer. Women are not supposed to suffer. Men are not supposed to suffer when they marry. Let us make marriages some place where, not a bed of roses, but a place where two people come together to enjoy. If you are already married and you are living in a relationship that is abusive, my brother and sister, it's about time for you to check out of that relationship rather than stay and die. Many people have died before you, and many will still die if they continue to remain. If you continue to remain, you will die. Yes, wise man, I know that you are just joking. I know that you are pulling the legs of the men who think that women must cook for them. If a woman is happy to cook for you, you will not enjoy the food either. So make your wives happy and then you will be happy. If you are not happy, if a woman is not happy, you will not expect her to make you happy. Marriage is not a barrack, a police barrack where there is a commander. The husband, I will say what I said some time ago. A husband is the head of the family, not the commander of the family. Most husbands have missed the point. If you are a head of a family, you should be caring, loving, being the protector of your family. You should be that person who gathers your family. You should not use anger to separate your family. If you are a commander, you will be dictating to your family. You will be shouting. You will not protect them. You will rather expose them. So if you are a husband and you want to enjoy your family, you have to know that, yes, wise man says, I agree with you, but you must respect your husband. Of course, respect is earned, not demanded. Respect is earned, not demanded. If you want to be respected in your marriage, you should respect. That is how it is. There are some women who fear their husbands. They don't respect their husbands. If you hear what they say behind or what they do in the absence of their husband, you will be shocked. Are you that husband that your family is praying that you should come back home from work quickly? Are you that husband that your woman is anxious to come and meet you? Because if you are not that kind of person, then you are a commander. It means that when you are around, there is abuse and people are afraid of you. There are some people, when they go to work, their families pray that they should remain there. There are some people, are you that husband that your wife calls you once in a while to know how you are faring at your job site because she is missing you? Or you are the one that when you go out, they just pray that you should go and go because you are so wild at home, you are wicked, you are unacceptable at home? A good husband is not a commander, is a head of the family who loves, who protects, who cares. We need to take this seriously as people created by God in his image. We must take that seriously. We must take that seriously. People created by God in God's image, we should know that marriage, Sonny Eric has said, marriage to relationship don't always make sense, especially from the outside. Stories and experiences differ. Yes, you are right. And when somebody is talking, when a woman says that I was raped by my husband, nobody, people would laugh at her, people would jeer at her, they will yell at her because they don't understand. As our brother Kingsley says, until you wear the shoe, will you feel the pinch? If you don't wear the shoe, you will not feel the pinch. What happens under the roofs of homes, you may never know, except that you are part of it. So I am calling on all of us to each be a crusader for happier relationships. You can be a crusader for a happy relationship by having a happy relationship by yourself. If you are a husband, look, another thing I did not say. As a husband, as the head of the family, you are supposed to help your people to grow into better people. So if your wife is that bad, if your wife is a bad woman, what have you done to make her grow into a better person? You have to help her to get up, to become a better person. Yes, look, women also command. We are saying that we are talking about living in an abusive relationship for both men and women. There's some women who command, and we say no. You don't have to be commanding your family. You have to lead your family, not commanding. You don't have to you don't have to command. Both men and women, we need people, any husband that is showing wanting to show that you are commanding your family, or a wife that is commanding the family, you have missed the point and you are not living according to God's will. God's will is for two people to come together and become a family. They shall be one, and they will live to enjoy this world. They will construct their home and be able to enjoy. If you are a commander, if you're in your home, whether you are a man or a woman, you have missed the point. A husband is supposed to show his strength by gathering his family, by making his family to become better people. If you are a good husband and you have a bad wife, and that woman remains bad, it means that you are also not doing your work. Vice versa. If you are a woman, a good woman, and your husband is bad, and the husband remains bad, it means that you are not doing your work. But if you are doing your work and at the end of the day they are not changing, then you have to pack your things and leave. Yes, Eric says, I agree with you, madam. A great marriage is not when the perfect couple comes together. It is when an imperfect couple learns to enjoy their differences. Yes, my brother, that is the simple thing. A marriage, there's no marriage that is a bed of roses. A marriage is a place, is a construction house where people start from the foundation and they are constructing. They construct, they remove the block, they fix it, they put in which one is fitting and things like that. That is how relationships should be. God said he created woman as a helpmate to the man. If you are a parent who is looking for the perfect man for your wife, a perfect man for your daughter, you are wrong. If you are a girl who is looking for a ready-made house, you are wrong. You are supposed to go in, then together you and your husband will build and construct a better family. If you go into a ready-made house, then you are not a wife. If you are a man and you think that you will acquire everything before you go get married, then you are also not doing the right thing. We have to make the people each person has to understand that we need to imperfect people come together and strive towards perfection so that we can construct a better world, a world where there is peace beginning from families. A world where peace reigns from us, the parents, to our children, and then radiates around our neighborhood, and why not to the society. A world where the family, as the smallest unit of the society, is contributing much and making the society a better place to be. A world where there is no abuse, or there's misunderstanding but not abuse, because there is no couple that will live successfully without having misunderstanding. But there's strength. There is strength in misunderstanding if you take it positively and you use it to build to move forward. If you use your misunderstanding like a building block for you to understand your partner and vice versa properly, you will succeed in life. But if you keep using your taking your misunderstandings to be an ingredient for you to abuse your partner, then you are wrong and you are on a wrong footing. Know that you will end up by getting yourself into real trouble. We are moving towards the end of our discussion. We started up with a song which said, "Come to Jesus." And I want us to listen to the song again before we end. And as we are talking, I pray that each of us, if you are living in hey, my sister says, today most men want perfect beings to get married to. Yes, most men want to rape all the girls, but they want to get married to virgins. And you girls, you need to be careful. You need to be intelligent, wise, wisdom. Wise man says, do you know what love doesn't mean? To win someone, but it means to lose yourself for someone. Yes, 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 Mr. Wise Man. Those are wise words. Love actually means to lose yourself for someone. That is what it means. And Eric says, Sister Mercy, adrenaline. I told you, Sister Mercy, I told you Romeo wouldn't change his mind. That's why people still remembered his name. Always. Yes, you are right, my dear. Romeo and Juliet, everybody talks about him because they loved. And their love was really, really nice. They didn't change their mind along the way. They remained the same. Before I play our music, Kingsley said something which is very important. I said it in one of my discussions. That when you get married, remain the person the man saw or the man the woman saw. Some of us, especially women, when we get married, we forget that we are supposed to keep being beautiful for our husbands. Some women, like he said, he used it very well. He said some women, when they get married, they were making makeup, they stop making makeup, and they start looking miserable in their homes. Your husband will be looking for the woman that he saw and got married to. So you need to remain pretty and beautiful for your husband. If you get married, you man, don't become don't start looking funny and say, as he said, a man will get married, will have 6 packs. Then when he gets married, start having a big stomach, start not putting on himself to look good. You will not be attractive to your wife. So dressing code and well-being code should be respected by everybody. We need to look good. You need to look good for your husband and for your wife. Wives, if your husband is that man who is not, some men don't keep clean. Some men are so dirty. Their underwears are always dirty. Buy them for them. Cause them to wash them. Check your husband. Don't allow your husband to wear one underwear for 3 days because he does not have. We can also change by buying that. And then you men, buy for your women. Don't go and buy only for girlfriends outside. Some men don't buy for their wives, but they provide for people out there. And then the people are looking beautiful, they run after them and abandon their wives. Make your husband handsome. You woman, make your wife beautiful. You man, make your wife beautiful. Most men have forgotten that they are supposed to make their wives beautiful, but they run after beautiful women outside. And vice versa. Most women have forgotten that their husbands are supposed to be handsome. They run after handsome men. We need to all take our position. Take our position. Take our position and, in fact, own your marriage. Stop saying that my man or my wife and then forget to put twigs and firewood under the love so that the love grows. One last thing I will say before I play the music is that Nehu says, Mom, I've told them, send them to me on the midnight show. Yes. That's true. You people should visit the midnight show and know how to make yourself handsome and beautiful. Some people don't even accept to make love with their husbands or their wife. When the woman says that, no, you have to touch me here, because if you touch me here, I will feel good. The man will say, who taught you that? Where have you learned this one? I knew that you will learn this bad fashion from your friends. Then the woman will never enjoy love. Or the man comes back, maybe he has discussed with his friends and he has one new style he wants to try on you. You say, you don't, I beg, go find that small girl. Then when he starts going to find the small girls, you are the one to complain. We need to rethink. our relationships, the only relationship that God has ordained and that you can kiss anywhere, make your love in your home as you want, is when you are married. So when you are married, be open to each other. Stop pretending and stop making life uncomfortable for yourselves. Sonny says women too complicate, my dear. When women hold off from marrying men, we call it independence. When men hold off from marrying women, we call it fear or commitment. Fear of commitment. That's not true, my dear. Not all women feel like that. You're right. You're perfectly right. So we need to. Last thing I want to say is that we are confusing love. There are 3 types of love. We have agape love. Agape love is the love of God. Agape love is the love that God brought to us. The love that God says, love your neighbor as yourself. That is agape love. We should not compare love with agape love. We have filial love. Filial love is the love between you and your siblings, between you and your parents. That's filial love. And then we have eros love. Eros love is the kind of love between you and your wife or husband. And so, let us start loving for real. Let us stop confusing eros love with all these kinds of love, because that is one of the things that has brought trouble to the world. Let us love for real. Let us love from the heart. If you have your husband, love him. If you have your wife, love her. Use eros love to love them. Stop pretending. Let us not pretend. Visit Mama Atalaku every night, midnight, and then you learn more things from there. It's very important. Some of those things that we think that is taboo, those are the only things that can help us to become better people. And we can really become best people if we are open to our partners. If you are not, when you talk of being immoral, be immoral to your partner and end there. Be immoral to your partner. You have a right to be. And then you end there. Thank you, Mercy. I want us to listen to this song before we end. It's one of my songs. Who says, come to Jesus. It's a song that, Zach, where were you? Jesus, I can Join me and dance with me. lana, Jesus, I can no mercy. Jesus, I can mercy. Come to Jesus with your burdens. He's the only Savior. What we could be to keep up. Jesus, Luna, jump to you. Jesus, Luna, why now, more? He is the only one who saves. Come to Jesus now, He is the only one who saves. Come to Jesus, He is the only Savior. Come to Jesus, He is the only Savior. Jesus now, He is the only one who saves. He is the only. Come to Jesus now, He is the only one who saves. Come to Jesus, He is the only Savior. Come to Jesus, He is the only Savior. Yes, come to Jesus. He's the only Savior. So if you are living in an abusive relationship, you still have the right to go to Jesus and He will help you out. But the first thing is you have to stay safe, leave that relationship, because your life is more precious, as Mercy said. Your life is more precious. Thank you, Clarice. She says they were dancing at the background. Yes. If you go to Tikumdi Tilda on YouTube, you'll see some of my works there. That song too is there. And Tikumdi Tilda. I will type it on the, it's Tikumdi, Tikumndi, in capital letters, and then Tilda. Tilda ends with ER. That's my my YouTube name. If you go there, you'll see the song is there too. You'll see the video there. I have many. Anybody who wants me to send the audio to him or her, you can always inbox me your number and I send it to you by WhatsApp. I don't refuse to send, so you can enjoy it. Thank you so much. If you have a problem, take it to God and leave it there. Take it to God and leave it there, because God is there. And don't allow anybody to dampen your smiles. Your smile is very important. God gave you the smile to stay there, and nobody should take it away from you for any reason. Tikumdi Tilda, Tilder, Tilder. Yes, Tikumdi is correct. Tilda is in small letters. Yes, Tilda, Tilder. Tilder, Tikumdi Tilda. That's the YouTube. Thank you so much. Proudly come, yes, proudly the world, and proudly a woman who wants to support every other person in any little way. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Mercy, I was so proud of you. Mama Talaku, thank you. Kingsley, thank you. Thank you to Gina. Thank you to all of you who came on board. In fact, we have touched a soul today. Thank you for Sonny Eric. Thank you for everybody who dropped a comment. You have touched a soul today. It will help many people. Many people will learn from there. But let the conversation continue on the comment box, because when I stop, I will sit and I'll be looking at what we are talking about. Let's keep the chat going and let's be agents of change. Let's make people to enjoy their marriages, not to suffer in their marriages. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. I love you all. Mwah.